Media Day 2018. First of all, I'd just like to thank, you guys for, your daily visit to practice, and obviously coming today. Hope you guys like that little skelly period I gave you the other day. Some of you guys got that in. It was like a little, like trick or treating, getting that big candy bar instead of just a little candy bar. We really appreciate everything you guys do, because I know your job is, is as important as ours. So appreciate, those things. Obviously, day 6 of camp. We're really through the first quarter of our season when you think preseason camp, and there's been a lot of work to go into it. But again, you think of a quarter of the way there, and we got three quarters to go. So we have a media day kind of at a weird time. It's almost like we should start it off this way, and then let you guys tail off for there. But I really like where we are at this point. We've got 19 seniors, and we got they sit in those front seats. They really have done a great job leading this team, and not only leading it through practice the last 6 days, but really the summer. And then I got to give a shout out to really our strength coaches. Starts with Dave Andrews and all the preparation that goes into getting to this camp. But Dave Andrews and Freddie Walker and Austin Addington-Strap and our nutritionist, who I think is one of the best in the country. Probably needs to be a story on those guys. Make EJ bug someone besides me. But Catherine Hopkins, our nutritionist, has done an unbelievable job. So I think, really what happens during, the summer when you're on vacation, coaches are taking a few weeks off and on vacation, and there's always somebody here. But our strength stuff, our strength staff really holds things together in the summer. So we came in prepared physically. Right now, we're sitting in a good place. I told you 6 days ago we came in healthy. We're still really healthy right now after 6 days, and we want to stay that way. And again, that's attributed to really our off-season program. And also our guys paying attention to the tempo. I think after 3 great years and then going to the 4th training camp, that our kids are starting to figure out how we practice together and keep each other healthy. And I think that's an important asset to have going into a championship season. So with that, I'll leave it open. Leave it open for you guys to ask some questions. We got a lot of talented young guys in too. I know you won't get many of them next door, but if you guys got questions about any of those guys, fair game. Shoot.
You mentioned the young guys. With the new redshirt rule, how does that change your approach now and how you'll approach working with those guys through the season?
You know what? It won't. It's not going to change our approach. We're looking for the best 22 on offense, best 22 on defense, and really, that 2 deep in every special team. So it's not going to change our initial approach. But what I think it does is, and again, I think I've mentioned to you guys how we go 1s, 2s, and freshmen. So we're getting a good look at these guys today, this afternoon. We've had an opportunity to, even at the end of practice, go freshman on freshman just to really find out who they are. And those days are running out real soon as far as how many times they're getting quality time on the field coaching. And pretty soon we got to just kind of slide into coaching the 1s and 2s and getting those 2 deep. But there's some guys that have, slid up and got some reps with the 1s and 2s, and that's a real positive for some of those young guys.
How did it change the way you handled a guy like Kenny Pickett last year, where you could have played him the first couple games just to get a feel as opposed to trying to redshirt him under the rules?
No question about it. No doubt about it, because deep down we were hoping to go with 1, and then when it came down to 2, then we had to think about 3. So that definitely would have changed the strategy a year ago. And we're not going to be afraid of. In the past, it's like we'd always sit down on a Thursday and go, "Who's not playing? Who?" But by God, don't put them in the game unless you guys. We sit here and talk about it. So we've always had that conversation. Then we knew there were some guys that you'd put in and hope you could get through it. But right now it's like fair game. Anybody can go in. If you want to put a guy in, put him in. We got 4 games. Now again, I don't want to see a guy get in for 1 play. I'd rather get him for 15, game 8 or 9 or 7, whatever it may be. But it does change your strategy a little bit as far as later on. And like I've told our football team and those young guys, it's going to give you an opportunity to work your tail off as the season goes on. And I think that's the real important thing. In the past, I've seen some just horrible scout team players in the freshman year that are in the NFL right now because they just shut it down. Well, if you shut it down, you won't get those 4 games at the end of the year. If you turn it up and start getting better every day, you will. So I think that's a major advantage for those young kids.
So in that running back room, you have 2 seniors and 3 young guys. How's the competition going there between those 5?
You know, it's a daily. It's a right jab one day and a left jab and an uppercut. I mean, they're going back and forth, and they're really and Darren Hall and Quadri Olson are leading that room, and they're coaching their tails off on those young guys as well. But AJ Davis and I tell you what, Sibley, both of those guys, Davis and Sibley, have gotten better. They've done some nice things. I mean, Sibley's had really 2 pad days in a row. He's gone out and shown that he's ready. He had a great move today and bounced it outside on a pretty good run, pretty good sized run. And AJ's done the same thing. So both of those guys have played well. Michael started off with a bang. I haven't really noticed him the last couple of days. And when I say notice him, I'm talking like big plays. The first couple of days, it was big plays. He looked, probably has hit the wall a little bit there. But talent-wise, we got ourselves a special football player there.
As far as career receptions, wide receiver, the depth chart, there isn't many as far as that goes. Are you confident that what you're seeing out there for wideouts?
Yeah, I mean, right now after day 6, yeah. I mean, it's a daily deal. We talk about getting 3% better every day, and there's the good and the bad, and that's really at every position. I don't care, receivers, O-line, D-line, DBs. I mean, they're all the same. Every day's a new day. But I'm confident, number one, that we got a quarterback or 2 that can get those guys the ball. I mean, I'm watching Nick Patty 3s-on-3s, throwing the ball and watching Cam O'Neal make a nice catch and him make a nice throw, and it was more of a trust thing. It wasn't like his thing was wide open, but Nick Patty put it where he needed to be, and Cam catches it right where it's supposed to be. I mean, it was kind of like, wow, that was with pressure in your face, and I don't even I know I couldn't see the receiver. I don't know how Nick saw the receiver. I'm back there, I couldn't see him. But little things like that, we got guys that can put the ball where it needs to be, and it's not going to be all on the receivers. Sometimes that's a 2-way street. So I'm not worried about guys catching balls in the past. Our guys can catch the ball. You guys saw that in Skelly the other day. You had an opportunity just to watch a little bit of the offense move down the field and compete, and guys tackle or not tackle. And again, that was first day in pad. So I hope we get a lot better, from that day to day 24 of practice.
Now you guys have put the pads on. Have you gotten a better sense of which freshman might be able to help you this year?
It's still a couple. It's still a couple practices away from really feeling that. But I think one guy, Shockey, is a guy that right now you go, oof. I mean, our kids notice that guy right now, that he can come play. And we know mentally he was here in the spring. Physically he wasn't because of a high school injury. But right now physically he's done some great things, and he plays fast all the time. He has not hit a wall mentally yet, which helps him because he paid attention in the spring. Even though he didn't get the physical reps, he got the mental reps. But right now he's playing at a high speed. He's not one of those guys that floats around there. He caught a ball out here 2 days ago. It was like, whoa, and I thought it was overthrown. I about ready to turn around and get some Gatorade, and all of a sudden he reached out and caught that thing. I didn't think there was any way he'd walk it down, but he walked it down. So he's a guy. Quez Williams is another guy that has shown, and sometimes those skill positions you can do that at corner, that has shown some promise early where, hey, maybe we're going to play that guy right now. And again, whether it's them playing really good or a position of need, that guy has been a guy. And then John Morgan, kid from DeMatha, defensive end, number 6 out there, you'll see flashing around. He's doing some good things, getting some reps with the 2. So all those guys are getting some reps with the 2s right now. And, there's probably 1 or 2 maybe that I've forgotten or missed. Nick Patty's, he's playing well. I mean, we're sitting to find out who's our third quarterback and who's going to be our second quarterback. But there's some competition going on there. Nick's not just saying, okay, I'm a freshman, I'll come in and be the 3rd, 4th, or 5th. He's coming in and studying the game, and he's done some positive things.
And I know coaches like yourself approach every season the same way, but this year, in your 4th year with great support from the chancellor and great support from the athletic director, do you feel more or less pressure coming into the season under those circumstances?
I feel the same pressure. Every day's pressure. As coaches, we put pressure on ourselves. I mean, every day it's like, God, why are we not doing this? Why are we doing that? And you don't see us in meetings. I'm a lot cooler sitting in front of you here in the media, but every day's a pressure day. So there was pressure in the 1st year. There's pressure in the 4th year. There'll be pressure in the 15th year. I don't really see it any different. I mean, we do what we do. We coach the way we do. I'm not coaching any different now than I did 4 years ago or 15 years ago, to be honest with you. So,
How's the depth at the linebacker spot with a guy like Quentin Wirginis coming back this year?
you know, a healthy Quentin Wirginis is really, you know, makes us a better defense. Love that guy. You know, we did a goal line period today, and you know, the offense scored after 2 plays, and before he goes off the field, he comes up to me. He's like, "Coach, can we get another series of that?" You know, he wants to go again. You know, it's like, I want to go again. You know what? They come out again on defense, and then they shut him down. So the linebacker depth is pretty darn good. At the Mike linebacker spot, I mean, you see improvement every day out of, you know, Elias Reynolds and Chase Pine. They're getting better. They're so much better than they were a year ago. It's not even funny. At the star position, Sean, again, is having a great camp. And then you look at the guys behind him. Anthony McKee is sound as he's ever been. He gets it. The light bulb went on. And then Cam Bright is a guy that's got some special talents that, you know, he's way ahead of where, you know, Anthony McKee was 2 years ago. And then going into boundaries, Salim Brightwell and Elijah Zeiss, 2 guys, 2 talented football players that are fighting to see who can get the start, number one, and who's going to get the most reps and who's going to make the play. So it's a competition's a beautiful thing. And, you know, I tell you, there's competition, and I'm going to give you some oars this year. You might have more oars than you ever had on a depth chart because the talent in depth is that much better than what it was a year ago. And sometimes I throw some oars on there just to mess with you, so you guys kind of don't know what's going on. But there's maybe some real oars out there that, you know, even at the D tackle position. So.
How was Trey Tipton coming off the knee injury?
Trey's been really solid. You know, Trey's a good football player. Trey's got a ton of talent. We want Trey to give it every down, every play, every day. And he's had a good camp so far. He's really been solid. So, you know, we just continue to hope we get big plays out of Trey Tipton.
One area of the team you're most concerned about?
Say it again.
One area of the team you think needs to take a step, and you lost a couple guys in the NFL.
You know what? You know, there's no. I'm not sitting here going, "Oh gosh," and that's because we're healthy right now. I might say, "Oh gosh," if we don't get healthy all of a sudden at some spot. That's not going to happen. We're going to stay healthy, but you know, right now there's no glaring weaknesses. Right now, our receivers are out there playing. In the spring, I would have told you, you know, health-wise that was a concern, but right now, Coach Sherman's doing a good job at, you know, keeping the reps, making sure they're not getting worn out and fatigued, and then maybe broken down. And I think that's, you know, part of us being smart coaches, and then our kids taking care of their bodies, and really the results of maybe our off-season program, maybe a little bit more running, a little bit more of this as opposed to that.
What's the challenge in trying to balance the excitement you have for the newcomers you mentioned, the freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and maybe temper the expectations that fans might have for those guys when they hear you excited about them? You know, especially when you're talking about a Paris Ford when they've seen Jordan Whitehead and Kenny Pickett do special things as freshmen.
But just tell the fans to relax. It's only day 6. We still got lots of more football to go. Right, Larry? I mean, it's day 6. I mean, every day, like I said, every day is a new day. So we can talk about it today. We may not be saying good things tomorrow or feeling good things tomorrow. So I think it's a day by day.
You talk about the development of, or just your personal feelings on Elijah Zeiss and what he's meant to the program as far as different positions and now just settling in and being one of the real leaders.
Yeah, Elijah Zeiss is a great kid. Number one, he's a quiet, go to work, doesn't say a word, just works his tail off. And I wish you guys could probably before media day today could have a before and after picture of what he was back in the indoor facility 3 years ago, a little skinny, scrawny, wide out, to where the other day he got dinged and was laying on the ground, and Rob Blank, our trainer, rolled him over, and I'm looking at this guy like, look at this dude. I'm not worried about his injury because I knew he wasn't really hurt, but I mean his arms are just puffed up. The dude is huge. He's been so much more physical than what he was. You just look at the steps and the percentages he's gotten better from his first year going from wide out to linebacker. He's made some major improvements, and his body doesn't look anything like it. And it might have still looked like it if he was a wide out, maybe, I don't know. But he is a big kid, and we're happy he's on defense.
There was an ACC coach, Pat, who had said, that when talking about girls front seven, said it reminded him a lot of some of the defense that you had in your final years there at Michigan State. I mean, for someone who's been at both places and seen it firsthand, does it feel that way to you at all, or do you get that sense at all?
You know, Coach Partridge does a heck of a job. You know, I'm never going to go out there and say, oh, yeah, they're there. You know, we'll find out. I mean, to me, you find out in December. Find out where we are on December 1st is the key. That's how you measure yourself. It's not how many sacks you have, TFLs. It's you know how you are as a team, and it starts up front with those guys. So if we're going to be a dominant football team and get to a championship, we're going to have to play some championship defense, and it'll start with those guys up front, and you know the front seven, those linebackers, and in the front four.
Do you feel this as good as you felt about work your defense this year these past few years?
Yeah, I mean, Craig, it definitely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think you gradually can see. I mean, you could start to see it at the end of last year. I mean, you know, I don't think that Virginia Tech or the Miami game was a fluke. I think we got a little bit better, and then I think, you know, with some of the new stuff we're doing on defense, it's given them a little bit of advantage. You know, we've tweaked it quite a bit, and I think it's, you know, it's just added a layer of pain as far as what we do defensively.
Craig basically followed up his own question with the question I was going to ask. I mean, but I guess
Next.
from a personality standpoint, I mean, do you see your Michigan State groups were physical, in your face kind of group? Do you see that now in year 4 the personality on that side of the ball, especially among guys that you brought in when you first got here? Do you see that sort of developing?
You know, like I said, I love the guys we had. You know, I'll take Juan Price back. I'll take Tyreek Jarrett back. I'll take Bam Bradley, and I'll take Freeze. We had a little video of Freeze the other day. I'll take a lot of those guys back. I mean, we had some good players a couple years ago too. So I don't want to downplay those guys. I like those guys. I love those guys. You know, and sometimes, you know, do you have them all together? I mean, Lafayette Pitts, he's a pretty good football player. I mean, so there's a bunch of them. You know, and you know, we love Jordan White. All those guys. I mean, you know, those are all our guys, my guys, and those guys are all great players. I don't want to sit here and say those guys aren't of that quality, but to me, it's measured in do you win a championship or not? And it's not how good a D-line is or a guy is. It's how, you know, to me, you know, you can have a great defense, but if you go 5-7, nobody cares. You got a crappy defense. So, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, where those people are. It's where the team is. You know, in the end, I think that's the ultimate measure of where we are. So, you know, we get to a championship game, then you can talk about the defense, and I'll jump up and down.
Well, I'll rephrase it. Is this group as capable of playing championship defense as
Yes.
any group you've had since you got here?
I think it is as a whole. When you talk all 22 guys on defense, and when I say 22, I'm talking depth. I'm talking one, you know, when you look at where we were a year ago, you know, at the linebacker especially, I mean, we had one deep. And if we had to put a backup in, put the North Carolina State game on, if we had to put it back in, you were holding on to your tail, okay, with both hands going, what's going to happen here? Okay, I hope they don't run that play, or I hope they don't do this. This year, you're not doing that. We put a backup in, we got a chance, and to me, it's the depth that we have. It's not that player's better than that player we had 3 years ago. It's we got more pieces to the puzzle. We got 22, maybe 25 or 26 guys that maybe can help us win a championship.
When you were hired here, I heard people say that your defense is Michigan State. You could have sort of talked about your personality. Or the Pitt defense taking on your personality?
No, I think they're taking on Bates and Harley and Partridge and Sanders and Collins' personality. I hope they're taking on everybody's personality. You know, I hope they're not just taking on mine, because sometimes I'm talking to you guys and they're out there doing walkthroughs. But you know, I think it's a we. It's everybody, and you know, half the practice I'm over watching the offense, half I'm watching the defense. I move around, you know, on inside. Whenever I'm behind a team, when I'm behind the defense and inside, I'm rooting for the defense. And then we go to a team period or any other period, I'm always behind the offense, and I'm rooting for. I don't even talk much to the defensive guys. So I hope they're taking on the personality of our football team and our coaches.
Given where the defense is, we mentioned 22, 25, 26, what's it like to have a new coordinator come in? Maybe the guys hear a new voice, same similar schemes,
Yeah.
but a new voice saying, how much can that be something that infuses?
You know, fresh ideas are great, and you know we've got our base of what we like, and then there's some tweaking that needed to be done. It probably needed to be done 3 years ago, and we didn't do it. So you know, there's some nice little things that we've done front wise, coverage wise, alignment wise, you know, key wise. I gave you a lot right there. That's a ton of information, but so there's just different stuff that we're able to do, and we're old enough to do it too. I mean, if you know, last year we could have had new face as a coordinator, but we might not be able to do some of the little things because they just couldn't do it. But this year, because of some of the maturity, you know, that we have on defense, some of the returning starters we have, whatever, 7, 8, however you want to count them, 9. We have the ability to maybe tweak it a little bit, and they've picked up the install pretty darn well, and I think we've thrown a lot at them in those installs.
How about on the offensive side? You had Coach Watson in his first year, kind of more from a very prolific offense. Now he has the full year cycle. How do you see the offense evolving?
I think I see a great involvement, Larry. The first thing is, just for me, it made my job easier. I think anytime you have one-year coordinator, you're just trying to get the pieces back to where let's do it the way we did last year, and let's get it done that way. And then if we can add some pieces and get better, that's great. But I'm just trying to keep it the same, not structurally, not schematically. I'm just talking about like, hey, this is the way we do it, coaching them up on how we do it. But after second year, everybody in that room knows how we do it, and now it's really a matter of now there's I have as a head coach more time to go, hey, have you guys thought about this? Can we do this? Just finding different ways, because I think you got to think outside the box to get better offensively and defensively, special teams wise. So to me, it just gives me more freedom to go around and say, hey, what are you doing here? I'm not worried about just plugging up the gaps. So Coach Watson, the offense staff has done a great job. Dave Borbley has made a major impact in our run game, I think, from stuff he's done at Louisville and Colorado and wherever else he's been. He's got a great mind for the run game as well as Coach Watson does, and I can't wait to watch him play.
We'll take a couple more questions. We're just a few minutes away from our session with our offensive assistant coaches. A couple more questions from anyone?
Talk about the special teams, especially returning kicker and new punter, what challenges you have in camp for that.
Yeah, I'll start off with the punter. I mean, Kirk Christodoulou has done an unbelievable job so far. I mean, Ryan Winslow's kicking with the Bears. You guys probably watched him, in the Hall of Fame game the other day. Booed a couple, and then you're going to God. We got a real true, I guess a redshirt freshman punter coming in from Australia. But this kid is, there's two things with a punter that are important. How long does the ball sit in your hands? When the ball touches your hands and when it touches your foot, how long is that? And this guy went from probably a consistent 1.45 to a 1.55, somewhere in that range, because I time him every day because it's so important. The punter can't do anything about the snap location, but how fast can you get it out of your hand? And Kirk has made major improvements in getting the ball out of his hands, because it was kind of a, last year, we had some consistent times out of Winslow. When he come up, I'm like, golly, you're sucking on that ball. We need to get rid of it. And in the offseason, to his credit, he's improved getting that ball out consistently. And it's not been an up and down 1.5, 1.2, 1.5, 1.45. It's been a consistent somewhere in the 1.2, below 1.3, hand to foot get off. So that's the first thing that's important, because, I hate to hear that double thud. You guys know what I'm talking about. That ain't a good thing. And a lot of times it's on the punter if he doesn't get it out. And then the second thing is, and you guys have been out there, you come out to practice, it's real sunny out, and all of a sudden he hits a couple bombs, and then all of a sudden it starts raining. He's bringing the rain down with some of his hang time. He's got some 5.0 hang times that are 50 yards long. People better just start to learn how to do that. If he can do that in Hydesfield when the lights are on, our punting game is going to be right where it was last year, when Ryan was here. So that was the kick. That was the punter. You want to hear about the kicker? Or
Oh, good.
You sure?
Kick, go ahead.
Okay, so second part two, Jerry, stay locked in. But and then you look at Kessman. Kessman's doing a good job. He's got a stronger leg. I've never seen in 3 years guys kick it over the net. And you guys have been out there watching. I'm like, golly. I mean, just again another tribute to our strength staff and what we've done down there, power, strength wise, flexibility and recovery. But Kessman's got a stronger leg, and he's mentally he's stronger. He's not a puppy anymore. So we expect both those guys to be strong contributors to a strong special teams game. Jerry.
Okay, in 100 words or less, how are you a better
100 words or less.
150 if you want. How are you a better coach today than you were December 26, 2014?
I'm not. I'm the same dude. Just same guy, maybe a little chubbier, maybe a little balder. That's about it.
Did you change your approach, or you change the way you treat your people? Or
About the same. It's consistency. If you change too much, it's a bad deal. So it'll be the same.
Well, I've heard players say that about you. You're consistent. That's what you're looking for.
That's good. Well, I hope so. I hope so. That's good. It's a good compliment to be consistent.
Anything final? Will?
I didn't want to, this might have been the first media day where no coach was never asked about his quarterback specifically. I know
Hey!
you've already talked about Kenny in practice, but I mean, what progress have you seen even from the spring, from physically and mentally? And I mean, he did a lot his first start.
Yeah, I mean,
How do you back that? That's a lot of that's a lot of hype to kind of back up.
you know what? He's smarter than he was in the spring. I think he's more confident than he was in the spring. I mean, you take those 15 days in the spring. Now he's got another 6 under his belt. He's got 60 of them under his belt. This summer with just our summer workout program. But we'll find out on game day. I mean, that bar's up there as far as where he set it against number two Miami, and that's what everybody's expecting on September 1st. So he's got to come out and deliver that. Anything less than that's probably, everybody's going to be like, oh man, but we won't worry about it. We'll go back to work the next week. And but Kenny's a great kid, great player. He's a leader out there on the field, as I've said 100 times, and our team trusts in Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
I was going to ask where the lock the gates came from, slogan.
Where'd it come from?
Yeah.
We've had that slogan for a long time. If since I got here, we've kind of had that as one of our slogans. It's been one of our slogans. It's when we walk out of the locker room, we hit a sign above our heads that says "Lock the gates," and basically it's we're going out to the field, we're going to lock the gates and take care of business, and that's where it's really where it comes from, and we've done it for a long time. But the seniors, our Eagles, our leadership council had chose, we talked about, hey, what is the phrase? What do you want to do this year? They said, Coach, we want to lock the gates every game. And we want to lock it every practice. That's what we want to be. And I said, hey, that's fine. Just because it's there doesn't mean you can't use it. So that's kind of been, those guys in the past, as coaches and creative people, we've tried to, try to make up, a name. But to me, the best thing to do is put it in your kids' hands and let them take ownership of that. And who do you want to be? Well, we're going to talk about locking the gates every Saturday, every Friday, whatever game, wherever they tell us to play. Whatever time they tell us to play, that's our goal, is to lock those gates and finish business, and then we'll unlock the gates after the game's over.